Hi, I'm Ryan. I'm a woodworker running a small business out of my one-car garage. Today in my weekly shop update, I'm going to give you a walkthrough of this bunk bed behind me and how progress is coming on that. It's been a pretty big endeavor. I'm going to open up a box I got from Oneida in the mail this week, which I think is a warranty replacement for the dust sentry I purchased and had failed over the last little while. I'm going to talk you through some staining issues and maybe you can point me in the right direction. Watch along and I hope you enjoy. Okay, before we get to the literal elephant in the room, I'm going to open up this box. I bought a dust sentry from Wooden Edge in Winnipeg, Manitoba, ordered it online. I think it's going on 8 or 9 months ago. About 6-8 weeks ago, it failed on me. Just the light stopped illuminating and the filter filled up with dust and it was a huge pain in the butt. Since then, I've moved on and replaced my 15-gallon dust bin with a 55-gallon bin, and it's become a bit less of an issue, but this is a really cool feature, and I really want to have it working again. I paid, I think, $250 when I bought it from Wooden Edge, and you know, it's got to last longer than 8 months. When I reached out to Oneida, they first said it wasn't under warranty. It kind of had passed the warranty period, which was pretty disappointing for the amount of money it cost, but they took care of the situation. They sent me one. The people I dealt with there were fantastic. So yeah, let's just open this up and see what's in the box here. I got power cord, lights, the little grommet thingy, and instructions. Beautiful. So they sent me, the full dust sentry. So excited to plug this back in. I might play around with the different components and see if I can identify what failed. And I'll let you know after I get this installed, maybe in next week's video, which component actually failed. I suspect it's the sensor, but I don't know for sure. So I guess it's all kind of connected. I don't know, I'll play with it, I'll get it working, and we'll go from there. Okay, I'm not sure if video will do justice to the size of this thing and how big it is in my shop. My shop is approximately 12-ish feet wide, and this bunk bed has got to be 9 feet. It's big. It makes it a challenge to use table saw. This is proven to be a huge challenge. The client reached out in the fall and I had anticipated having this done, within a few months. I had a couple projects before them in the queue. I was hoping, late November, early December to have this delivered, and it's definitely extended past that. It's big. The client wanted something that's really big and chunky looking. We decided on 6x6 posts. It's solid maple. Most of it was made out of 8-quarter maple with some 4-quarter, some 5-quarter. I did the math on the weight of the post if I would have used solid maple and decided to use a lightweight MDF core, and then I resawed a bunch of 5-quarter maple to kind of surround it. And that was one of the more time-consuming things. I really struggled with getting the miters tight. There's some open miters kicking around, so don't hate me, I'll fix them. Everything needs to be cleaned up, sanded, rounded over. So the pieces are in various stages of that, but yeah, there's lots of little areas to fix up. I knocked a couple of the posts over at one point and it bounced off my joint. Two of them bounced off my jointer and took big gouges out of the corners of the post. So got to cut those out and fix that up. It's been truly an exercise in, I don't want to say frustration. It's just been an exercise in I've overstretched myself on this just due to the size and the weight of it. It's coming close to the end here. I'm really excited. This is a project where I have taken an absolute bath. I will make no money on this. I have stopped totaling up my material costs. I don't imagine that I will even cover the material costs. I bought a Domino 700, the Domino XL, to use the connector system to tie it all together because I wasn't sure a better way to do that. I mean, I know there's other ways, but I wanted it and it was a pretty good excuse to use it, and it has been awesome, and I've used a ton of the big dominoes. All of the rails are connected to the posts with the connectors and 140 mil dominoes. All of the horizontal pieces to hold the mattress slats are tied into the rails with 14 mil wide, shorter mil dominoes. Use a connector to connect the stairs in. I have used a few of the smaller dominoes with the Domino 500 just to build these end panels. There's going to be end panels on kind of basically every open surface. It's a full-size bed up top with a loft area underneath. I have to build a small little, not a dresser, but a small little cabinet with 2 drawers and a desk still. Those are pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So once I get this knocked out and out of the shop, I'll be able to, within a week or so, deliver those. So pretty excited for that. But I think the most exciting piece of this bed is the area I'm standing now is actually a slide. So it's all set up in here because I need to figure out the tie-in between the floor at the top of the slide, the angle of the slide. I initially drew it up with a pretty steep, I think it was 45-degree angle, and it just looked too steep. So I've had to redo the slide. Did some reading on slide angles, and it's a bit complicated, but generally you want a 35-degree average angle. So trying to get pretty close to that. 30 degrees is also an option, but that kicked the base of the slide way out, and it was kind of way too big for their room, way too long for their room, so it affected kind of what they were doing with other furniture layouts. So landed on around a 35 to 40 degree, I guess it's about a 40 degree pitch for the main part of the slide, and then it evens out and goes horizontal. So should be in that 35 degree average angle range. So pretty excited about that. Still a few things to go, lots of cleanup. In terms of actually kind of things left to build, it is just tying the slide pieces together and figuring out the angle. The floor is cut, the side stretcher rails for the slide are cut, the feet for the slide are cut. I made a template on my CNC which is really cool, to make the kind of the curved profile. I just had some 3/4 inch MDF, so I cut that, and then I've been able to trace that and use a template bit on my router table to cut the pattern into the maple for the slide base. So really it's just tying this together. I'm going to kind of do almost like a half lap to connect the rail to the post, and then just lag bolt it in at the top, and then it will be standing on the ground at the bottom, so it will be super strong. So we're getting really close on this one. I hope to be done tomorrow, realistically Friday, with all of the construction, and then it's into finishing. Lots of sanding, some miters, open miters to deal with here, but this has been a project and a half, and I've really learned a lot. One of the big takeaways for me is in the design process. When you're building a cabinet or something kind of simple, or more straightforward, or maybe more self-contained is a better way to put it, you can use general dimensions, you can use relative dimensions. So you build a cabinet, it doesn't really matter if the box is 28 or 28 and a quarter, 28 and a half. Well, 28 and a half is going to be big, but you know, if an 1/8 inch here or there isn't the end of the world. You can build your drawer to that once the cabinet's built. My challenge with this is just the scale of it. I can't leave it set up and work. I can't access my table saw very well. It's pretty dodgy. I have to crawl my hands and knees to get out of here. My jointer's in the way. Like it needs to be set up right now so I can do this last piece of tie-in. But I've had to set this up and tear it down a bunch of times. Anyways, onto the design piece. I designed this. A friend of mine helped me with the SketchUp stuff. He's a SketchUp wizard, but a lot of this initially was designed with kind of, I'll say, close enough measurements, but it made it a real challenge to actually put it together, because it has to fit together. It has to be square. The pieces have to be good. And so it's just, yeah, like I think we designed it more with how we would present it to the client versus how we build it. So I think the big learning for me here is to design the furniture. Or maybe it's a two design process. I know I'm kind of rambling on this a little bit, but you need to do the design for the client to make sure they're happy, and for kind of the inspiration. And depending on where you're at in the sales process, you don't really want to invest a huge amount of time because they don't want to go for it. And there's lots of iterations. Like this bunk bed had tons of iterations to get to the design layout we wanted. So if you're doing a whole ton of work at that stage, it might not be worth it. But then when you start building, you really need kind of those shop drawings, right? You really need that level of detail that I just didn't have initially. And like I said, my friend is an absolute SketchUp wizard, and he's been phenomenal with helping me with this. So I can't say how thankful I am for that. It's just a takeaway for me. It's a learning. You know, I've never done something quite this complex and quite this big. If it's a smaller project or a bigger space, I could just leave it set up and work off the relative dimensions and work it out as I go. But you really got to take these things into consideration when you're working in this small of a shop with this big of a project. But anyways, I'll stop rambling and droning on about this. Tons of lessons learned, tons of moments of pulling my hair out, but end is in sight, and I'm really excited to deliver this, and I'm really excited for them to have it and love it and enjoy it. Okay, so for staining the bed, I did all the stair treads and I did the stair sides. I'll get to that in a second. But the client picked this antique oak General Finishes water-based wood stain. She liked the color, did a lot of samples. Went and found this, and this is the color we picked. I'm quite fond of General Finishes products right now. I'd say my favorite thing to use, I think I said in my last video, is Rubio, just hardbox oils, small shop, really easy. But the General Finishes stuff is really high quality. I've used a number of their finishes and stains lately. With the stain, it went on the treads really easily, no problems. I have one coat of semi-gloss Armor Seal, so I'm going to use Armor Seal for the top coat on all of this. We decided on a satin look, but General Finishes website recommends 2 coats of semi and then a coat of satin, so this has 1 coat of semi on it. Worked no problem. I think small area was pretty easy to do. When I did the sides of the stairs, which are not the biggest pieces, but among the bigger pieces, I think it's pretty wide at the bottom here, it ended up really streaky, and I think I figured out what I did, but curious your thoughts, please. If you know what I'm doing wrong, just let me know in the comments. But my hypothesis here is that I didn't use enough product and I didn't keep it wet enough. Water-based stains dry really fast. I use blue shop towels to apply the finish to it. Since then, I've picked up these stain pads, stain applicator pads. They hold more stain. General Finishes recommends that you have enough stain on the wood that you can write your initials in it. I definitely didn't do that. And another thing I want to do is keep a wet rag with some water that I can kind of smooth out in between the lap lines. My concern is around the rounded over corners and being able to keep a line there, like how to keep a wet edge. I could tape it, but I'm worried that if I tape it, because it's rounded, stain will get underneath and I'll have with blotches. But maybe I just apply it along the one edge and then kind of wipe it down with the wet rag. Maybe I'll try that. And then kind of work to that edge to hit the skinny side and then flip it over. But anyways, these all sides here have to get sanded off. The steps treads are good. They just need a couple more coats of Armor Seal and they're done. I decided to stain the stairs before I glued it up. I'm thankful that I did. This would be a nightmare to do. And I've taped off the inside edges where the treads will meet. They're connected with some big dominoes, like I said, and won't be glued. So yeah, no concerns there. But I'm not a finishing expert. I know staining maple's hard. I've stained a couple maple things in the last little while. I did those big barn doors, which I still haven't posted a video on, but I will at some point. And same problem, super streaky, sanded it all off. I used a Rubio Monocoat stain for that, which is also a great stain, just incredibly expensive. But anyways, yeah, so I kind of did the steps I said with the door the second time and it turned out great. So I don't know why I didn't do it with this one, but I didn't, so lesson learned. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think. Thanks again for watching this. I hope you guys like these formats of the videos. Thanks for those of you that stuck around to the end. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed and have a great day.